Hi everyone, we're going to have a little tour of one of the greenhouses. Excuse the mess. Here goes. This is where I keep the majority of the Conophytums. These are species of mesem, South African plants. Very nice compact growing. The few there in that tray. I'm also in the process of sorting these out as well. They get to a certain size, then they need to be taken out, either potted up singly or into larger trays. This is basically a general shot. Excuse the pile of labels. I'm going to try and keep these talks fairly short, so they're just general shots of the Conophytums, pointing out certain ones which may be of more interest than others. At this stage they're going through their resting period, which means the outer bodies are drying up to like a paper thin sheath, and that is why they look half dead. They're not half dead, but that's how they look like. In this tray here you have some of the larger growing ones. You can see they're slowly drying up. I'll put one of these videos up when they're actually in active growth and showing their lovely flowers. All these are Conophytums. The genus now incorporates Herianthus and ophthalmophyllum. Ophthalmophyllum means like an eye, referring to the shape of the actual bodies, but that is an old name now and is now being classified under the genus Conophytum. Sorry if I seem to be going fast, but I'm showing these fast because they are really in rest and not of their full beauty. While I'm mentioning this, I must mention in September the Mesem Study Group, which is based in England and has members throughout the world, is going to hold its show. This is being held in September this year. The exact date has escaped me, but it's in September and it'll be held at Banstead, which is near Croydon and Reigate, Sutton, even Wallington. I've heard of Wallington. Here, have a look at the back there. A fan is a very essential item. I've just turned it off actually. If I'd left it on, the buzzing would have driven you all mad. This is like the end part, the greenhouse. The electrics, these were put in years ago. I put them all in. For our lamp collectors, we have a very old neon indicator. This came from a shop in London, which is now under new management as far as I know. I don't think there's any of these lamps there now. This was taken in probably the 70s or even before that. That's a Continental fuse box with the screw-in porcelain fuses. Still works and probably work for another 100 years. Coming down, a few plants and cuttings that have been done up for local boot sales. As a lot of you know, I do like my boot sales, and occasionally I do the odd one. So there's lots of cuttings there. There's Christmas cactus, Zygocactus truncatus or Zygocactus bridgesii. Originally these plants came from Rio de Janeiro, much of which we're hearing about now with the, excuse my French, bloody football. And here we got some more there. There's a species of orchid there. One at the back is an orchid cactus, which is a hybrid. It's an epiphyllum. The plant which looks a normal plant in the middle is in fact a cactus. Believe it or not, that is a cactus, and it's one of the only cacti that has leaves, and it's a normal growing plant, or it looks normal, but believe me, it is a cactus. There's its flowers. It's called Pereschia. Turning round, all know what these are. Tomatoes. I thought, well, I had a bit of spare space, so we'll grow some of those. This is one of the very small ones. The fruit's quite sweet and it's quite nice. Tomato plants. They're growing in. Officially, they're not grow bags. They're bags which I picked up at our local Lidl's. They were a bit cheaper, so I used that. Punch a hole in them, plant the tomatoes in, and away you go. They've got to be fed occasionally. A bit of tomarite or something like that, and it brings them on, and as you can see, loads of flowers. Coming around, just walking a little bit back, this is my sort of junk end. That light fitting I picked up at the boot sale, I modified it, changed the lamp holders that were in there. They were funny holders. Those that know me on Lighting Gallery and that will have probably seen what the old lamps looked like. They were very expensive, so I changed the holders to normal ES and used a high intensity CFL. Every greenhouse should have a little radio, and it works. At the end here, my trusted propagator with a couple of grow lights above it. Here I can either screw in these lamps. They're a compact, made by Megaman, and they give out that typical pink purple light to grow the plants in. You can just see the innards. ES base. In here we have some Opuntias being propagated. These are ones which I have in the garden. They stay in the garden the whole year round. They're completely frost resistant. It's Opuntia compressor. And my original plants of these, or one of the original clones, came from Long Island, which is in obviously New York State. So their weather gets blooming cold. In winter, as the name suggests, compressed, they will virtually empty themselves of water, lay flat on the ground and just get through the winter. But these are ones which needed to be rerouted, and they're in these trays rerouting. The propagator's not actually on, but if it's needed, it can easily be turned on. This was made by one of our very old members of the Cactus Society, Mr. Warwick. If you ever find one of these at a boot sale, grab them, because they are vintage, almost like me, antique. Anyhow, nearly finished in here. Show you some at the bottom. Excuse all the mess. Various odds and ends underneath. Trays of plants waiting to be propagated. This is Clinia articulata or Senecio articulata. Another tray there. And on the other side we have Ripsalis cerascula. That's a cactus, one of the epiphytic type cacti, not a desert cacti. These would grow in the jungles. Ripsalis species also are found in South Africa. It's the only cacti that have gone to the old world there, mainly or virtually exclusively New World plants. The plant in the pot there is a Stapelia, starfish plant, Stapelia variegata, and I'm actually propagating that one as well, which is over here. Excuse the pit in the centre. This is where my neighbour's cat has a little sleep. That's Gingy. He's not about today, so I can't take a picture of him. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Oh, just before I go, for you lamp collectors, you either like these or love them. I tend to go for the older lamps, the vintage lamps, but when you need a bit of light, this is actually one of the other growing lamps. Turn it on. For its size, it is quite bright, and the original lighting in here was 4-foot strips which rusted. The caps became broken, and the only chance I had was to change them, so I took them down, and this was wired in. As you can see, the name on there, if it comes up, green lamp. This was bought off of eBay along with the two that are in that that propagator I've got. Anyhow, once again, thanks for watching. Comments please make, be them good or bad, I don't care. And any questions, I'll try and get back to you and answer them. Thank you again.